Yo, yo, yo. What's up, everybody? Welcome to tonight's stream. So this is kind of the setup we got. It's relatively simple. It's just a presentation. I just have all of the concept art, or most of the concept art, released for Halo Infinite out here. But first, we're going to hit these leaks, man. These leaks that were found this morning by Sean W. And it's been shared all over by a ton of people. Bunch of content creators, but it was found by Sean W. and made a video about it this morning. And I kind of wanted to just jump on this and give my insight to show you kind of a different perspective, something that I don't think has been spoken about before. We've seen so much of this world already, although we've seen so little of it, and it's definitely interesting. So this is kind of what got leaked today. This is it. You know, how many images is this? 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Like 12 images here. And, you know, out of these 12, we've seen, what, 1, 2, 3. We've only seen 3 out of these 12. I think that's it. Yeah. So this was a pretty big deal. And, hold on a second. Let's get this over here. This was a pretty big deal. I mean, we got a lot of good insight. Of course, we've seen this one already. This is the cover art for Halo Infinite, but it's also the cover art for, you know, this 2020 calendar, 2022 calendar. Sorry. All right, so we got 13 concurrent viewers, 3 likes. If you guys could drop a like real quick, let's get it to 20 real quick. We can do it. We can do it. Or just around 20. So we've seen this, all right? I'm still very curious to see what this thing right over here is, right? What is this thing? Just tried out classic Halo 2 multiplayer, and it's a ton of fun. It's great, man. I love Halo 2. What is this thing off to the right? I have no idea. A lot of people say it's the Palace of Pain, you know, and then also, what are these down here? These very interesting rings that we've seen but haven't heard really any expanded theory or lore on just yet. What are they there for? Are they there to show installations? Like, what's the purpose of them? However, this right here, the Wasp coming back, is pretty neat, and I actually think that the Wasp in game with the advanced vehicle mechanics, you'll be able to shoot some wings out, or maybe shoot the back of the Wasp out, like the God, what is that? I forget. I don't know what that's called. Like the fin or whatever that is of the back fin of the Wasp. Maybe you could shoot that out and it changes its direction, makes the flight pattern a little harder. I really look forward to seeing how these actually look up close. But all in all, people are saying this is the Palace of Pain, and I'm not saying I disagree with it. I'm not sure if the Flood will return, and if they do return, they're probably going to return in a way that is essentially not as brutal or violent as they were in the rated M games. As you know, Halo Infinite's going to be rated T, so what I'm thinking is essentially that the Flood will come back kind of looking like they did in Halo Wars 2, with like a yellow glow to them, so that if they do return in the game, when you shoot them, they kind of splatter this really, you know, icky, yellow, glowy, emissive substance. That's what I think it'll be, instead of blood or like dismantled body parts or anything like that. And you know what, I was actually thinking about this as well. When it comes to these rings, there's multiple ways to be able to get around the ring. Obviously, one is the grapple hook, and these right here, right? I think they're just they're monuments to something. The rings itself, themselves, I don't know. But when it comes to how they might work in the actual game, or how did I pull that all the way over there? How it might work in the actual game, I think they are fast travel points. I could definitely see that. I could definitely see that. So another thing that we saw was this right here. Once again, you see these rings sitting down here. This has to do some sort of storytelling. Maybe this is essentially showing us through concept art, you know, how the ring will be dismantled and destroyed over the course of Zeta Halo's life during the Halo Infinite campaign. Who knows? Maybe that could be something like that, or how it was destroyed before and then it got fixed. Maybe it's a part of a campaign that when we find these, it jumps deeper into like expanded lore. They could be fast travel points, you know, who knows? But regardless, something I always thought was maybe these had to do with ancient humans, you know? Ancient humans made these, and basically speaking about the rings and or creating an homage for the rings. I don't know, something along those lines. Halo Wars 2 had a great intro for the Flood, even though it was rated T. Yeah, but see, that's what I'm saying. I think the Flood can come back in a pretty brutal way, but it's not going to be bloody, for instance. Kind of like in Godzilla, the most recent Godzilla. The Mecha Godzilla that killed that creature while he was in like his cage or like his facility. That blood, that was supposed to actually be red, but that would have made it a rated R movie. Instead of, they turned it green, and then it was, I think, a lesser rating, like PG-13 or something like that. I'm not sure. But anyway, you know, turning the Flood into like a little yellow substance that comes out of them instead of red blood or like dismantled body parts could make all the difference. But just having the Flood back in general would be sick. I really got to know what the rings are for. They've shown up so many times. I really think they're fast travel points or something along those lines. Yes, I'm pumping out content on the daily. If you guys are liking this, make sure you're subscribed. I appreciate it. I think Halo Infinite will contain a lot of symbolism throughout the campaign. Absolutely. And then I'm actually going to break down how some of these campaign levels will most likely work. Funny how literally just changing the color will change the rating. Pretty much, yeah. Ratings are really strange. But what I love about this is how what I'm thinking you can do in the campaign is essentially go from this location right here to then this location, this location, this location. I'm not expecting us to be able to go to every single one, but for instance, you see the Pelicans flying over maybe to this landing point right here or over to these over here, but from what I can see, you're in this location, and remember how these beam emitters are basically indicators pointing towards where you can go. So in the concept art, although it's concept, the concepts have definitely been expanded upon. So just think about how massive the worlds are. If you're actually playing this game, right, how long would it take your character to go from here to there? You know, minute or so, 2 minutes or so, whatever. If you're walking, maybe 45 seconds to a minute if you're driving a Warthog, right? Seems pretty far away. This is a massive lake. But then if you look at this over here, just how big this valley is, or this gap, or this mountain range is, in order to be able to get to the top of that mountain right over there, it shows you how massive and expansive this world's really going to be. And having the Pelican everywhere near you and by your side is I think something that's going to play into like Foehammer, you know, where essentially you could maybe call in some like a Warthog or a tank or something, you know, as you build your relationship up with the Pelican driver, the pilot, and you know, as you rank up your, I don't know, your Spartan, maybe you can call in different drops, different weapon drops, you know, bunch of variety of stuff like that. Or when you're just driving around this area and you find Marines sitting up here, right, or up here captured by the Banished, you basically call in the Pelican, he comes and picks him up, and that could be like a little side quest. You know what I mean? That's how things could work. And then when we come over to, but basically just to finish this one off, I love the pillars actually, because gameplay wise, it just makes for such an interesting world. Now this was found by Sean W. this morning, right? This is part of, now we're diving into what we haven't seen, right? And this right here is really interesting because this is a more gloomy environment that we had not seen before. This, funny enough, like kind of how this entire thing is pretty much laid out, like with the world kind of being dismantled and whatnot. It's interesting to see, like, imagine if you took the grapple hook from here over here, right? Imagine if you shot that. Or if you're sitting here in the Warthog and then you grapple to this and swing over to that. You know, there's like so many different ways to be able to use these pillars and different gameplay mechanics that are now in the game. It's super interesting, but this does give me a very ominous vibe. And with how vertical everything is, kind of like Legendary saying, let me read his comic first. With how vertical the general gameplay experience is going to be compared to previous Halos, this will almost definitely attest to how diverse custom games will be. Absolutely. This right here could be the Deadlands. This could definitely be the Deadlands. But the thing is, what I'm thinking is, you know, if the Deadlands maybe have like different biomes on the ring, actually have different species or different enemy types, right? Like let's say the Deadlands have the flood, or maybe the interior of the ring, which we'll get into later, has the flood. You know, who knows? And then in more, you know, natural looking, prettier, healthier environments, you could have just the regular banished covenant type that are walking around. But in more gloomy and really destroyed areas of the ring where trees are falling over and the ring is really just ripped to shreds, you could have flood walking around in there, just because of the fact that it makes sense. You know, if the ring was dismantled and they were trapped within the ring, right, breaking it open would allow them to escape, and then you would fight that enemy type within this area. Or quite honestly, could just be banished, you know, a continuation of banished. But it looks absolutely epic. I've built stuff like this in Unreal Engine, so to do this without even knowing what this looks like, I'm pretty excited that I even got that. But yeah, you know, and to see the Warthog, look at the scale of these environments, man. Just how massive this actually is. I would see an enemy type being here like the Flood, or just really aggressive brute types, or quite honestly, maybe not even that. Like, imagine you're sitting up here with the Warthog, you hop out, you got a sniper or a battle rifle or something. Down here you have some jackals and grunts kind of just walking around, hanging out. And maybe you have some brutes just walking by, you know, driving by. And they're looking for different, you know, materials or assets that they can pick up or find in these very destroyed areas. Maybe different minerals. I don't know why they're on the ring, right? But I could see this as just a very scavenger, like where the scavengers and the vicious type creatures and enemy types would be. This is what I'm thinking. And if the Flood come back, maybe it's just the time of day here, but something's so ominous about this, and I could see this as a place where you fight the Flood, you know? But I'm not drawing any conclusions just yet. The Silent Shadow could definitely be in here as well. I think that's actually a really good point. Silent Shadow is going to be part of the game as well. Those cavernous looking areas got me spooked in a good way. Absolutely. I mean, I can imagine myself walking through that. I really can at this moment right now. What's up, guys? We're at 35 concurrent viewers. Thanks for being here. 18 likes. Let's get up to 30 if we can. 30 or 40. Let's go. Did 343 say it is an open world or semi-open world? I don't know if they confirmed either or, but it looks like a semi-open world. So, looking at this, that's kind of my thoughts. And what's interesting about it is, think about it. You can go through here, right? You can grapple any of these pillars, swing over to the other side, or you could grapple from here up to here, possibly, depending on the range of the grasp, you know, the grapple. And then you could walk up here, and just think about it, gameplay-wise. The direction of this is basically saying, hey, go head down this way, right? That's where your eye immediately goes, right? So it's telling you to go straight down this path. But imagine when you're going down this path that when you get to this location, you decide, hey, instead of going here, I'm going to go up here. And then you go up here and you find some, I don't know, like a rocket or a weapon or some type of audio log or whatever that's up here. And it essentially rewards you for exploring an area that is so massive and diverse, but at the same time, this area is a bit unassuming to you. You know, you wouldn't think to go up there. You'd fight your enemies down here and then keep trucking forward. But I think going up here, going to the sides, going down into these pillars in here, it's going to reward you in many different ways. And I think that's pretty exciting. Now, when it comes to this one right here, this is a little blurry because these images are really small. But from what I'm kind of seeing here is that the Pelican looks incredible. Everyone's saying this is like the H2A Pelican, but I didn't think this... is this the H2A Pelican? I didn't know. I thought this was a completely new design for the Pelican, and it looks massive, it looks beefy, it looks very different. Instead of that oval shape for the windows, now you have that kind of blocky look, which is much appreciated because it looks like a mix of the Halo Reach, Halo 3, and the scale of the Halo 5 and Halo 4 Pelican combined. That's what it looks like. Yeah, Chad, of course, dude. I'm having fun with this, man. I absolutely love doing this. I love the speculation side of stuff. I primarily do Forge content, so if I can do stuff like this, I love it. If this is the scale of the game, it makes sense why it's taken them 6 years. So it actually hasn't taken them 6 years to build this game. It's maybe been a couple years to build this entire game. Like a couple years, 2-3 years maybe, you know? Imagine the glow of a Scarab boss fight with the red glow breaking through the mist in a swamp. That'd be pretty sick. My thoughts is that it might be like ODS, like how ODST did it, but on a larger scale, since they did say you can go backtrack. Yeah. Backtracking, I think, is going to be huge in this game. So this is obviously the Discover Hope trailer, concept art for that. But I just love the way the Pelican looks. It just looks edgier, it looks cleaner, looks larger, and it looks like a mix of Halo Reach, Halo 3, and 4 and 5. And I think that's how most things in Infinite are probably going to be. Alright, so if we go over here, this is actually now the Halo 5 Pelican, I think, right? Yeah, that's the Halo 5 Pelican. But I think the concept here is kind of cool. So basically, when you run it through the campaign, let's say you get dropped off, right, in a location on Zeta or something, right? And then you get an objective that essentially says, hey, go over to this big Forerunner spire, right? But on the way there, maybe you could pick up comms that say, hey, we're on your left, we need some help. Or you see just some a smoke bomb up in the mountain or something like that. Or maybe you see some enemy types that are essentially walking or tracking down Marines to your left, right, whatever it is. And you got to go find them and save them. And then when you do that, you can call in the Pelican to come pick them up. And then that could be a little side quest that's complete. Or yeah, I mean, honestly, that could be another thing. That could just be a new variant of the Pelican. But I think it's more of a redesign. Who knows? But I didn't really feel like these looked like or felt like Halo. I mean, they do. What am I talking about? I guess my biggest gripe with them is just this window right here. I don't mean to sound like that guy, but I just think this looks so cool compared to the oval shape. But anyways, having missions that are set up where essentially you have one large objective, but then exploration that basically presents you new weapons, new armor pickups, new abilities, that then can serve you down the road when you run into Marines, that then if you go and get those Marines, they could stick with you, jump in the Warthog, and then you have more people to help you on your actual mission moving forward. So there's many ways where exploration can benefit you, and that's what I think one of the coolest parts of Infinite's going to be. Now, this image right here is pretty cool. Chad says, I hope we're not on Zeta for the whole entire game. I want to go to a planet or something, or a different space. So, good time for you actually to say that. It took reference from Halo 2 Anniversary. Yeah. I agree with that. The Pelican definitely took reference from H2A. But, coming back to this is interesting, because the first thing I notice is that the ring is not broken in one area, but it's actually broken in two areas. So if we go back to this image here, right? I don't know if you can see this or not, but when you look at this, okay, and then when you look at this, hold on one second. Nope, I didn't want to do that. When you look at this, What it shows you here is maybe the evolution of the ring, right? Like how the ring is going to be destroyed over time. So it goes from a perfect circle here to being partly broken here, right? Which is actually what we see in the concept art beforehand, right? In the Discover Hope trailer is what we saw. But then imagine this entire portion of the ring just goes bye-bye. That would line up with this right here being literally that quarter of the ring gone. So it might be a little hint as to what's going to happen with the campaign. I mean, who knows, to be honest with you. But a lot of people are also saying that this is the booster frame, right? From Halo Legends. It looks cool. Looks like it could potentially be that thing. But if they put that in the actual game, I don't think it would be as anime looking or whatnot as it was before. I think it would just be essentially, it would be redesigned, right? But I would not be surprised if the different areas you could explore in Infinite are inside the ring, the actual ring itself, as well as the space battles as well in different planets. There's so much that they can do in 10 years regarding Infinite. If the initial campaign is on Zeta, the next one might be, coming back to Reach, or going to a gas giant, or going to different Halo rings, or something that's just out in space. Maybe there's, stations out in space that we could go to. You never know. Maybe there's a hub in space that you go to. Maybe there's a hub on Zeta that you go to. Like, there's a variety of different things that they can do. It could be a broadsword as well. It could be a variety of things, but a lot of people have been kind of looking at the booster frame. But yeah, so dogfights in space would definitely be a dream, and I think they did that in Reach, and a lot of people liked it. So I mean, when you look at Infinite, you basically got to think this is going to be a culmination of all the best elements of Halo put into one game, to an extent, but that's essentially what they're going for. So let's see. Well, obviously you can see a gas giant here, but I'm telling you, correlating this image right here where it's a perfect circle to then a quarter of the ring being broken like we see here, right? This is a quarter of the ring. This is not the entire thing. This is not half of the ring. Or maybe it is half of the ring, but then that would make sense for right here as to how half of the ring, or a quarter of it, more than a quarter of it, is broken off. It kind of could just be hinting at, how the ring is going to be destroyed, or that, ancient humans had I don't know. I don't know what the case is going to be. It could be something that's predicting it, or it could just be like I don't know. I'm not sure. But that's kind of like my theory, that we're kind of seeing the evolution of the ring's destruction. All right, so we come over here. This is beautiful because it kind of reminds me of just the stuff that I've been making in Unreal. It's just beautiful, dude. Being able to see the pillars popping up, and majority of the landscape being an actual landscape and not being, just huge pillar foundations. I think the balance between this right here, right, where it's majority pillars compared to landscape over here, where it's majority landscape, it's going to be a really nice balance to kind of dive into and witness in Infinite. There's not really much to pick up here, but I think this is obviously a lake. You got the warthog in the back. This is really reminiscent of kind of the environment that we saw in the July campaign reveal. But yeah, not much. It just looks like Halo. It looks pretty, Gas giants in any game scare the hell out of me. Why is that? And then Hemisphere says, I think the gas giant close to 04 was always so massive and scary. You don't know why you got vibes from that? I don't know, man. I really can't wait for the 13th. I think I should just knock myself out and wake up in a few days. Random question. Is Zeta Halo that Halo ring at the end of Halo 5? Yes. So the legendary ending of Halo 5 was actually the thing that hinted at, Halo 6, which is Halo Infinite. Or I'm assuming that's what it is, right? I mean, that would obviously make sense. But we could do a flight level inside the ring, akin to the 360 ride from Outpost Discovery. Yeah, you know what? I don't doubt that you'll be able to fly to many aspects of the ring, right? And that the Pelican will take you to many aspects of the ring. But they've already expressed how, you know, massive parts of the ring, so like essentially in this image right here, you could fly from where Chief is to all the way over here, or maybe all the way up here. I'm pretty sure that's going to be a thing in Infinite. Maybe not to that scale, but it's definitely going to feel large enough, I think. I've been digging into Unreal Engine 2. It just sucks that my PC isn't up to par with UE5. Neither is mine at the moment. This truly is Legend of Halo, Breath of Infinite. Yeah. Forges, have you checked out Doom 2016's map maker? Yeah, I have. Yep. I've checked that out. So anyways, moving on to this. This is a cool image right here because I actually really enjoy this. Now, my question is, what is this big beam tower thing, right? I have a little bit of insight into how these actually work, but we're not going to get into that. So the thing is, you know, they always seem to be in a portion of the ring that is destroyed, right? Something that's been heavily dismantled. So whether or not they are something that essentially is ripping the ring apart, or is fixing it, or maybe it's the Palace of Pain. You never know. It could be just a Forerunner thing. Who knows? But this down here, this is not a river, by the way. For you guys that may have thought this was a river, this is a massive metallic slab down here with a bunch of pillars basically all covered up in here. This is just a metal floor, essentially, all made out of pillars. And you can see that part of the landscape is falling apart. This right here, it has these little, like, I don't know if you've seen in my Unreal, when I was making my Unreal map, but it has these little, what it looks like spikes circling around this beam, right? Which might be digging into the ground. This might be a drill of sorts. You never know. It's because every time I've seen these, they always look like they're drilling into something. They always look like they're in a dismantled, broken part of the ring. So maybe it's stabilizing the broken elements. That's another thing as well. That's actually a good point, Surya. But I feel like it has something to do with, maybe this is an energy that's pouring into the ring to get things rebuilt. Who knows? But it could just be really as simple as Palace of Pain. But the Palace of Pain is absolutely way larger. So maybe these are just little, like, little sections compared to the, maybe there's like one primary structure, which is what it looks like. And then these are just the smaller structures scattered all throughout the ring that are, if it's the Palace of Pain, picking up, you know, scavengers or, you know, whoever's just on the outskirts looking for random stuff, and they get captured and brought up in here, and I don't know. The whole thing, I don't know what's happening. It's either stabilizing it or maybe a banished thing mining. So that's what I thought. I thought this was mining for something on the ring. There's some type of element, something on here on the ring that the banished want that, you know, I think is larger than just Cortana. Definitely see them being autonomous sentinels, machines establishing parts. Okay. Could also use them as watchtowers or small Promethean battle gauntlets, dungeons. That could be cool. That could definitely be cool. I think the Palace of Pain is something like Destiny 2 Raid had with World Eatership. The Houses of Pain. Not just the Palace of Pain, the Houses of Pain. But that's kind of how I see this. The environment itself, I mean, just look at it. You can grapple from this tree, maybe land over here, get up here, and then grapple over to this thing. I don't think that's possible, but the amount of areas you can grapple and just how interesting they're using a natural landscape mixed in with an alien metallic world is really inspiring to me. That's why I've been doing so many Halo Infinite type stuff. This is cool right here. So, you know, Sean and Sean W and a bunch of other content creators today have been talking about essentially, hey, well, I think it was him that brought it up first, but hey, maybe you'll be fighting like a group of banished choppers, you know, they'll all be coming after you or something like that. It could be a squad of them just rolling around. I don't doubt that at all. I like kind of how all of this is looking. I don't know if this, I mean, I guess this is Halo Infinite concept art. I feel like this looks similar to something I've seen before. But yeah, anyway, you could see the base behind you, or behind the choppers here, and it really does look ominous, dude. It looks massive, it looks gritty, and that's something we haven't had in, you know, we haven't had that in a Halo game, so it's pretty exciting. And the fact that the chopper is back in Halo Infinite is incredible. You know, something tells me that this was not just a accidental leak. I think that, yeah, either this was released too early, but I also think that it's, you know, the week of E3 and they were like, yeah, you could put that out. It doesn't really incriminate too much about the game. It just gets people talking again. So this might have been strategic. Because look, we're talking about it. But and it gets into the mainstream and gets more people thinking about Halo. But I'm very excited for the game. Oh, you're Eye Nocturne? Okay, gotcha. It's a brute biker gang. Absolutely, you could be that. I love how the chopper just looks scary and actually powerful. Yeah, I mean, these choppers, I like how in the front here they kind of have these spikes. Spikes in the Banished, it's just such a cool concept, man, to be able to come up with vehicles like this. Whoever's brain established that idea is sick. The Halo Ring concept art has the EVA booster frame from Halo Legends in it. So that's what people are saying. And I actually made a video on this earlier, but I took it down. So yeah, I was thinking about that, and it looks cool. I mean, if that's the case, then that's going to be amazing to be able to use that in game. It looks like Infinite did take a lot of inspiration from the Halo Legends. I mean, literally his shoulder pads and a lot of his armor came from that. And just, we've seen a lot of inspiration for Blue Team from that as well. So it's been cool, man. It's been sick, and I think a lot more from Halo Legends is coming over than we think. I've been watching a little bit of it, and there's a ton of new vehicles, ton of new armors. Like there's this entire mech suit in Halo Legends that I think may be coming into Halo Infinite as well. Guys, we're at 28 likes. Can we get it to 50? We got 40 people in here. We can get to 50. I already know we can. I appreciate you guys for doing that. Looks like they're riding on light or something. Yeah, well, that's kind of how they always worked. It was like an energy that shot out the back that essentially guided them. Yeah, they absolutely did. They took it. So you guys got to pay attention to the fact that they took a lot of inspiration from Halo Legends, a lot of inspiration from Halo Reach, and a lot of inspiration from Halo Wars 2. So when we see the multiplayer reveal starting on June 13th, we're going to see many vehicles from Halo Wars 2 coming back that we did not ever expect to see in a Halo game before. And I think it's going to be a lot of Banished vehicles and a lot of, different variety of vehicles, different varieties of Banished, Banshees, Warthogs, Mongooses, the Gun Goose is coming back. There's so much to really discover here. We should 100% see drones and skirmishers. I feel there's more that could be done with them. I agree. Just looks like blue fire coming out of the back. Yeah, it does. So this one right here is mad interesting to me. So if you look at the scale of this concept art, Chief is obviously on a part of the ring that is dismantled, right? And then this massive space over here, if you see all of this green sitting above the lighter green, those are trees. So if you take the scale of this tree and the scale of these trees, you could just see how far this actually is away. And a lot of people are curious, it's like, how could you actually see the curvature of the ring? I think this is a pretty far distance between each other. And all this in here is a part of the, this has to be like some inside part of the ring or something. But what's interesting about it is that it looks like you can actually go down here and walk through here. So I could just imagine what type of kind of activities and objectives could be in locations like this that are essentially open to the surface level of the ring that you could jump into, that may lead to deeper parts of the ring that then could help you engage with sentinels or Prometheans or whatever. See, because the way I think the biomes work is that you'll get the traditional enemy types on the surface of Zeta Halo, right? Stuff that you would normally expect to see, brutes and grunts and jackals and elites and all that stuff, right? But then let's say you go to a swamp terrain. What would you see? Maybe you would see some brutes there, like specifically brutes. Maybe you see some flood. You see some new animal types, maybe some deer running around. Then let's say you go to the inside of the ring. You see sentinels. Maybe you see some Prometheans, right? You see things that make sense for their environment. Let's say you go to that one really eerie looking place that we just looked at a few moments ago. This place right here. What do you find here? Maybe this is the Deadlands. Maybe this is something that has just been completely dismantled and destroyed. Or maybe this is just like a day and night cycle and it's a little misty and foggy one day. And because it's darker and ominous and whatnot, and it seems like a part of the ring is really showing here, that maybe the flood inhabit this area. Like, I feel in different biomes there's going to be different enemy types in those biomes for you to fight that make sense and that add to the overall ambiance and believability of said environment, right? So Warthog Run confirmed. That would be pretty cool. Imagine, dude. No one's actually thought about this either. Imagine if the Halo ring is coming apart at the end of Halo Infinite, and it was kind of like it took inspiration from Halo 3, where a lot of the pieces of whatever that structure was flying off or exploding. Imagine you're driving through Zeta and different parts of the ring are dismantling as you're having to go through it, right? Imagine how cool that would be as like a finishing Warthog run for Infinite. That would be so sick. Kind of like in Halo Wars 2, how it just got shot up in the sky. Imagine if you blow up Zeta at the end of, all of this. Or maybe you save it or whatever. Who knows? But having to basically go through a section of the ring that's being destroyed that really takes heavy inspiration from Halo 3, with all the elements just exploding in front of you and having to navigate it as it blows up. Like, that would be so cool. Honest to God, that'd be sick. But I really don't know what this is right here. I just know that essentially the variety of gameplay areas in this game will be probably pretty impressive. And then when it comes to this right here, this is interesting because I don't think this is this is in the Halo Infinite 2022 calendar, so I'm assuming this has to do with Halo Infinite. Maybe there's different varieties of, just like in Halo 5, different varieties of the battle rifle, but this looks like Halo 4 and Halo 5's battle rifle. The Brute right here. This is because I'm thinking maybe this concept art was made early on, right? And they had to use older assets. But you can kind of see the evolution of Chief's armor over time, kind of the direction they were going. And you could see that in a later image as well. But to see where they landed is pretty cool. But having the Brute here, having the Grunt here, and just look at the scale of this environment, how big it is, how many vehicles are driving around. Like, if you look at this image in particular, like, no one's thinking about this either, this looks like a World War II type environment. Like, if we're thinking of a big team battle 2.0, if the campaign is hosting environments this large, you can only imagine what the actual that's not a DMR, that's a battle rifle. You can only imagine what the actual multiplayer environments will be like. You know what I mean? So there's not really much to go off of here, but you can just see the sense of scale. It's really impressive. And once again, this is something we've seen, but the sense of scale here is that you'll be able to take a banished Banshee and go from any location literally from what it looks like as miles away, right? It just looks that massive. And keep in mind that, you know, you can go up here, but then you can as well go straight down here. You can go into these crevices here. You can explore what's in these pits, you know? You can walk up on this ridge right here. You can literally walk on this ridge right here. You could walk all throughout here and find something over here. You could walk all the way over here. Like, there's going to be limitations to the game, but overall, I think just the amount of choice that a player has is going to probably make this the most replayable. Is that the word for it? Yeah, Halo game of all time, where there's just always something new to find, always something new to do. And I don't want to speak too soon about that, because Destiny seemed like the same thing, and it really kind of wasn't. But I think they're hedging their bets on, all right, if we give the player more choice, we bring back that Halo CE vibe, right? How will that actually, you know, how will that actually work with modern technology? And I think how that will work is, hey, we're just going to give them a ton of space. We got to figure out what's down there. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, what's down here, from what it looks like, is just a steamy environment. You know, it's just down here. I think there would be potentially maybe some Marines lost, right? That you could save down here. An objective like I don't know, like some lost Forerunner architecture or whatnot that you could find down there. I think that's what could be. maybe like a Condor that crashed down here. Maybe, you know, who knows? It could be a variety of things. But when it comes to Marines and saving them, I think you'll kind of see like an indicator basically showing you that, hey, listen, there's a flare over that way. Go save these people. And if you save them, then you could have 4 extra teammates or a guy in the gunner going into the banished stronghold. You know, like, there's a bunch of ways to probably approach missions in this game, so it's kind of cool. All right, so the third to last image here that we're going to cover is something we've already seen, but let me answer a few questions here. I feel like there's going to be so many points of interest, collectibles, and stuff on the map. Absolutely. I think this game is going to be full of Easter eggs. But someone says, Victor says, do you think that we'll get a look at the armor customization system during the multiplayer reveal? Maybe. And if it's not at the reveal, I'm pretty sure it'd be shortly after in some blog update. Let's see. I'm really excited for hunting down upgrades in these environments. Absolutely. Do you think that we'll get a look at the customization? Okay, I already read that. Yeah, so that's kind of how I think it'll work. You can pick up a gunner. You can essentially equip yourself for better combat situations by engaging in smaller side missions and quests on the way to your main objective. I hope that Infinite can succeed in a way that Destiny failed in. Oh, can succeed in what Destiny failed in. Yeah, I mean, I hope so, man. I think Destiny's made its way back, but I think this extra year has really served Infinite well. I believe that. And I agree with Barnacle Guy. I'm going to be happy with this game no matter what. So am I. I've been happy with everything I've seen. Absolutely, dude. I mean, this game looks incredible so far, just from what we've seen, which is quite honestly not much. I mean, we've seen a lot, actually, but in terms of the actual story and gameplay and whatnot, not a lot. But regardless, man, I feel really good about it. I feel happy about kind of what we're going to be getting. So anyways, we saw this. Not really much to talk about, except there's 2 suns here from what it looks like. Or maybe this is like a moon or something. I don't know. This looks like 2 suns. So there's a massive gas giant, from what we know, somewhere over here. But we have this sun right here, and then we have this sun right here. And something tells me that this landscape right here, the massive metal landscapes, are probably not going to be in the game. Because I haven't seen them beyond just this image. However, kind of how the the ring is separated and whatnot. I feel like this is early concept art because all throughout here on this wall, I feel like there's more variety to the actual pillars most time than just like a straight wall, you know? Or maybe it is a straight wall, but they're never like in a straight line, you know? They look very natural and random. But once again, look at this. Like, I just want to show you this thing right here, right? It almost looks like a platform that can be extended out into this beam, and maybe it could take you up into the structure, right? It could be a watchtower of some sort, maybe. There's like an entire mission or area to fight in here, I imagine. Maybe something that's like the massive staircases that go round and around and around, kind of like in Halo CE. But this looks like it's mining something, you know? It looks like it's mining, but I could definitely be wrong about that. But, you know, let me know your thoughts on that. And then the other thing that I want to talk about is this image right here. This one got me really excited because what it shows you is that there's an entire inside area of the Halo ring that you can explore and kind of witness. So coming through here, you can see that the actual ring, or sorry, the pillars come apart, because from what it looks like is that they're not just one solid piece, they're a bunch of small pieces kind of all accumulated together, and they can break apart. So that's pretty interesting. And it also looks like they float. You know, these pillars seem to float. And what's really cool about this is that it's such a new concept, but such a cool, unique, classic art style. Like, imagine clambering on this, right? Clambering that, and then being able to clamber or grapple hook over to the top of this thing, right? Or simply just clamber, and then get here. There's so many fun gameplay opportunities with the grapple hook and just in general. The pillars, you know, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Maybe there will be Halo 3 Hog Run ending, but with these hexagon pillars instead of the plate things to drive on. Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. So imagine at the very end of Halo Infinite, a Warthog run where the actual ring environment that you're on, imagine it's like a grassy plain, is actually dismantling in front of you and shooting up into the sky as you're essentially driving through it. Imagine if that happened. That would be super cool, dude. That would be amazing. Guys, if we get to 50 likes, we're only 7 likes away. I appreciate it. What if they had Forerunner equivalent BOTW templates with puzzles? That would be interesting. But see, like, what this shows me right here is that in many parts of the Halo Infinite campaign, I feel like we're going to be tasked with understanding, hey, how do I get to this objective? How can I jump on these pillars? Or how can I, you know, utilize the environment in front of me to be able to get to this objective? It's going to make you think. It's like, see how this one's floating up here? Maybe you have to jump on something here, then over here, then get to that in order to be able to get to an objective that's like way far up, you know? I feel like that's some of the things we'll encounter. And then lastly, I found I believe a Halo 4 concept art that kind of shows you the difference between old art style, right, of like Halo 4 that's different than classic compared to what we'll be getting. And if you switch between these two, you can see how much cleaner the Forerunner architecture is and just how much more Halo everything kind of feels, you know? Isn't that one from the Inside Infinite update? Yes. Yeah. Yeah, dude, Halo Infinite's going to be an absolute banger. Like, I think Infinite is going to crush it. I'm personally not afraid or, like, worried or whatever people have been saying. Like, honestly, I could kind of... video games is my whole life, but I just, like, really enjoy it. I feel like the guys over there, the girls and guys over there that have spent years building this thing are passionate about it, and they're going to absolutely crush it, and I think the game's going to be fun. And that's all I really care about. Give me a good Forge, make it fun, and we'll have a good time. Yeah, the ambiance, the audio, everything has just been so on par if you've really been listening and following along with Halo. But all right, guys, let's take a look back at all the art pieces here. And what we'll see in all of this is just scale. What we see in all of this is just something so fresh and new. Like it feels like a Halo we've never gotten before. It feels like the Halo that we're supposed to get in 1999, you know? I hope the Prometheans come back. If they do come back, what I'm interested in is, you see how like the Halo Infinite, or sorry, the Halo 4 art style differs from the Halo Infinite art style. If the Prometheans come back, will they have the really busy design, or will they be more toned down and simpler? Because I think that's kind of what we're going to be getting, a simpler design of the Prometheans. This right here really intrigues me just because of the sheer scale of this scene. Chopper's coming back, that's sick. Really interested to see what this thing is. Just the environments look so, they make you want to explore. That's so fun to me. To know that we're getting a game like this later this year is amazing. People say this is the booster frame from Halo Legends. And keep in mind when it comes to this ring, because I'll refer back to this in 1 second. You know, in Halo Infinite, having to save Marines like you had to do in Halo CE is going to be a big thing that could benefit you when you're on missions. Discover Hope concept art with a newly designed Pelican for Infinite, which is sick. This is a very gloom and doom type atmosphere. I love how the pillars and everything are broken up. I love how there's certain aspects of the ring that are quite literally floating. It's amazing. It's so sick. And people are saying that, you know, Sean W. and I've heard a few other people talk about how they think Flood could be here. I could definitely see that. I mean, that could be fun. Really fun idea. This right here, all right? So if we look at this right here, for all of you guys that are joining, at first we only saw one part of the ring broken. Now we see two parts of the ring broken. And over here, if you look at these, this is a full circle ring, right? This is a quarter ring, and then this is literally essentially half of the ring broken in half from what it looks like here. So maybe this is giving us an idea of the evolution of how the ring is going to break apart, you know? Or this could just be, you know, ancient human design or something, right? We'll see. We'll see. This is the cover art, and then this is what we got today, which is a super cool leak. What's up, Green Jay? How are you? Yeah, think about the new... That gloomy image gives me strong Flood vibes. Oh, absolutely, dude. That gives me Flood vibes. Absolutely. But we'll see if they return or not. I'm pretty sure they will in some capacity. But I want to rescue some Spartan 4s and fight alongside them. That could happen as well. Some of these pictures remind me of anime concept art. Really. Let's see. Yeah, think about the new gameplay mechanics that we haven't even seen yet. For example, grapple hooking the noob cube and throwing it. I think the sandbox will have awesome opportunities for that. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, it's gonna be cool. I'm very excited for the art book now. Just being able to look through all of these looks amazing. Looks absolutely amazing. So anyways, this is my quick little breakdown. I hope you guys have a great night. I hope you enjoyed this. And yeah, I had a good time kind of breaking this down, you know. Someone says, I hope they return Golden Sentinels again. Ah, that'll be cool. I'm 98.7% sure that Flood is back. Really? Why is that? You know, it's interesting. In the audio update, they released something that sounded like just like a very vicious creature. And I don't think it was a Promethean, but if it was a Promethean, it could only be one of two things. Either the Flood or Prometheans. It sounded vicious. And I know it wasn't a creature on Zeta Halo because there's no harmful animals on Zeta Halo, so nothing that can be vicious in that capacity. But when it comes to an actual enemy type, I think the Flood is definitely something I'm keeping my hopes up for, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're in the game. I wonder if we'll be able to upgrade guns. Dude, that might be a thing. But no, actually, didn't they say that they were thinking about that and then they got rid of it? That idea, like early on? I think that's what they had said at one point. So, alrighty guys, that's everything. There's a ton of videos covering this, so I'm definitely not the only one. You've probably seen much of this before, but for all 43 of you that have tuned in, I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you for the 50 likes. I appreciate it. If you guys want to support me on Patreon as a creator, it allows me to do more of this, and it means a lot, so I appreciate that. Or drop super chats when you're in the live stream. That helps me out as well. We have a ton of Halo Infinite maps, Halo Infinite concepts coming out for the game that's up and coming. Like, I'm creating a bunch of different levels. I'm messing around in Unreal a lot, so if you like that type of stuff, make sure you subscribe. And when Infinite comes out, if any of you guys forge or if any of you guys want your stuff featured, make sure you subscribe and stay tuned to the channel, because we are, well, I'm going to be showcasing a bunch of maps for you guys, and hopefully I could showcase your map. I think that could be sick. So I look forward to June 13th, man. Something tells me this might have been strategic, letting this 2022 calendar out, but it also could just be like an honest leak. Either way, it's got me hyped. It looks great, and I'm beyond excited for... Oh, wait, hold on. Nope, I don't want that. I know that ad, and I don't like that ad. Alrighty, guys. Well, hey, listen. Thank you so much for tuning in. Give me 2 seconds here. Let me see. Okay. Go back to the music real quick. Let's see. Let me get my train of thought back. Yep. All right. So that's gonna be it for the stream. Appreciate you guys being here, and I'll see you guys June 13th. I'm gonna be doing a live stream. We're gonna be watching the entire thing go down live on my channel. So be there, and I think the day before I'm gonna be playing with Jarrah Sunder. We're gonna be playing with many people. I think Danny GG, maybe Arash. Halo follower, like a ton of people. It'll be fun. So just stay tuned over the course of the next few days, and you'll see some really interesting content coming from myself and many others. Alrighty, guys. We'll see you later. Peace.